to another episode of Dream Team. Today I'm talking about, as you can tell by the title, my Overpowered Dream Team. Really quick before I get started, does anyone want to make a logo for the Dream Team videos that I can start not on a blank screen whenever I'm the one making a Dream Team? That would probably be helpful. It's really your choice, do whatever you want. Now, on to the team. My first pick is Bandit Ban from Nanatsu no Taizai. For his verse, he is currently among the strongest 3 characters. There are 2 reasons for that. 1, his immortality. Any immortal character with a healing factor is instantly going to be pretty overpowered for their verse, as it can be nearly impossible to beat them. Wolverine would be nowhere near as strong as he is if you just took away his healing factor. The other reason is he can drain his opponent's physical abilities and give them to himself, putting him above almost all of his opponents. And he will do it to his allies too without really worrying about it. So he's kinda a D-bag sometimes. Like the time they were fighting vampires, and he decided to take his allies, King and Diane's strength, while they were in the middle of fighting a couple vampires. They were kind of just getting screwed over right there, while he was just standing there, stealing energy, letting a vampire go ahead and drink his blood, before just wrecking the vampire and drinking for a while. And if I remember correctly, Merlin challenged him to a drinking contest. Yeah, he's pretty overpowered for his verse, among the 3 strongest to my knowledge, at least currently. I honestly didn't think he'd be among the 3 strongest since he starts out with the lowest power level of the 7 deadly sins, but whatever. Well, actually there's one person that has a lower power level than his on 7 deadly sins, but that's only during the night. I would have him on this list, but I wanted 3 overpowered people for their verse who wouldn't really be the nicest of people. None of them are necessarily good guys, and a lot of them bad guys. It can be a stretch for Ban in the next one, because Ban is actually helping the good guys, and the next one's also, almost a good guy. But then the last one's pretty much a bad guy for the most part. Now, let's move on to the one, the only Ames Al-Goon from the anime Overlord. It starts out in a MMORPG somewhat similar to Sword Art Online, I guess, in the way that you are in every way, or no, not every way, your consciousness is inside the game. To my knowledge, your body is not, but your consciousness is inside the game, controlling your avatar. Well, it starts out like that, except this time the game is closing, not the game just opening. You're about to get trapped there for the rest of your life. He's one of the only people still on. Everyone else in his guild is, the last person in his guild that was on was getting off when it begins. He just sits down for the last couple of minutes, when suddenly the game should have closed, but the game's still playing, and he was maxed level in the game. Now he's stuck in a universe where everyone considers magic that, I think they said it was tier 3, the strongest a person should be able to do, while he can do tier 10 and something beyond that called super tier and world tier magic. He is very overpowered for his verse, and the only way they could really give him a fair fight at the end of the series, to give you some interesting fights and not just make him another Saitama, was to have one of the people who served him get possessed, and just so happened to be the one that countered him. The one that was made to fight people like him especially. So he had a tough fight, or so it seemed. He really just kind of wrecked her because she didn't know the same thing he did. He was just kind of, he had a plan from the get-go and made it seem as if it was a close fight up until he had almost beaten her and revealed the truth. But he was only capable of doing that because he had put a lot of thought into it before starting. He's not necessarily a good guy, even though he's the protagonist of the show, because, well, when he first gets to a town, he kills all the soldiers that are attacking the townspeople, but he was going to just let them all die until he realized, no, one of his old friends, from when it was still just a game, was always a very heroic and just guy, and if he didn't save these people, his friend would never forgive him or whatever. So he goes there, saves the people, and then kind of just manipulates them. He wants to spread his name, see if anyone else from the game is still alive, or not still alive, but in this universe. He does save people a few times, but at one point, someone killed a group of adventurers he was traveling with. And his response is, "It's okay, I probably would have killed them." Sorry, I'm not sure where that cut out. But, he's not really that good of a person, because he lost his human heart when the game became real and he became a true undead person. As you can see here, he's a skeleton. Well, there was a group of adventurers he was traveling with, and someone killed them, and they were taunting him, saying, "Are you here for revenge? Did I kill your friends?" And he said that he probably would have killed them too if he ever needed to. He was just using them. And if he were to be mad about it, he'd be a hypocrite. But then at the end of the fight, he says that he guesses he's a bit of a hypocrite. So, whatever. But he's somewhat of a good guy, but for the most part, he's lost his human heart and is a bit of a D-bag. In that way of, he will not save you most of the time unless he has something to gain from it. Well, that's really all I have to say about him, I think. I'll pause for a minute to see if I can remember anything else. Yeah, I can't really think of one more thing to add in. This will suppress his power, but he is capable of changing his class in a way so that he can use swords and stuff like that. It makes him much weaker, especially since he doesn't really know how to use that kind of stuff. He has no experience with it. He's pretty much only that good if you let him use magic. Not saying he's completely worthless. He's still actually pretty strong, like one of the stronger characters in the series. But if you were to fight one of the people who are strong for that verse, like the strongest for that verse, he may actually lose unless he takes that armor off and returns to normal. But yeah, that's all I can really say about him. He's from the anime Overlord. Feel free to check it out. I'm gonna move on to the Green King from K. He starts out not that powerful because, he's stuck in a wheelchair, strapped up and stuff, but that's to kind of contain him, I guess. Though, honestly, I doubt that could contain him if he ever tried to use his power. But he only has it for a short period of time. From the world he's in, from the series K, there are people known as kings. I believe there's 7 of them. They all have a different color. He's the Green King. Don't remember his real name. But there are kings, and they will be extra powerful people. And he's among them. All the kings, you normally expect them to be around the same strength, probably. But he's different. He's strong enough to beat 3 kings at once. Or at least almost beat up 3 kings at once. He reaches his time limit due to some traps they had set up beforehand and stuff. But then another king that was working for him shows up and they finish what they started. But yeah, for his verse, I'd say he may be, I'm pretty sure he is the strongest character in the series. And his plan is the kings will have people known as clansmen who will share in the king's power, but none of them will really be nearly as strong as the king. For a clansman to fight a king would basically be suicide, from what I can tell. Just like, for the most part, for a normal human to fight a clansman, it would most likely turn out to be suicide. But what he's trying to do is make it to where everyone on the planet will be capable of gaining the powers even without a king. The powers from the slaves, what created kings, and allowed them to give their clansmen power, is, since he stole it, I haven't seen the last 2 episodes, sorry. Oh, and sorry, spoilers for the 2nd season, okay? But he wants it to spread and give everyone powers and just basically turn the world into a survival of the fittest. Everyone is on equal terms. If you can't survive, that's your own fault, kind of thing, I guess. If I were to rank the characters here from strongest to weakest, I'd say Ban slightly takes the strongest, and I think I forgot to say this. Bands from the series, I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, so I'll say the English name, Nanatsu no Taizai, or 7 Deadly Sins. Then I'd say the Green King gets 2nd strongest, and Ainzao Gun's probably the weakest on this team, but they're all pretty... Okay, good. I thought that I might pause again. They're all pretty overpowered for their verses, and they're not guys you'd ever want to get in a fight with, because they'd all just completely annihilate you. And as a team, they'd cause a lot of mayhem. I may eventually make a 2nd overpowered dream team of characters that would counter them, be the good guys instead of the anti-heroes, or not necessarily good guys, not necessarily bad guys, but he wants to give everyone power. Sure, it's going to cause a lot of chaos and probably kill a ton of people, but hey, it's not that bad. And the other 2 simply aren't necessarily bad guys. That's all for this episode. If you liked, there's a button for that. Comments are greatly appreciated, and please check out what few other videos we have. We have another video that we plan on uploading, Champions of Video. Can't remember what it was about exactly, but I believe it was Ezio vs. Flashpoint Batman, and it went over 15 minutes. I think it hit 16 minutes something, and we have yet to get our YouTube channel to where we can upload videos longer than that yet. We'll plan on doing that soon. So, expect that eventually. That's all for now. Peace. I'll see you guys some other time.